Bruce entered his teenage phase at 7 months old, so I thought I would show you some of the things that he's been doing and what he's been like between 7 and 8 months old. Bruce started to regress in some areas and also do things that he'd never done before, such as parading. So mainly when he was hunting, he would find something and instead of coming back to me, he would run past me and do a little victory lap. So that meant we had to go back to basics and do things such as change the environment we were training in and just making sure that I was setting him up to succeed. I did also take a break from training his hunting because I didn't want him to get into any bad habits. And then in terms of his other training, just generally, I found that when we were outside, he was a lot more distracted. It felt like I was working with a 4-month-old puppy again. So I just kept things super simple as I didn't want him to get frustrated and I wanted to keep things fun and enjoyable. I think this was the point where it started to all go wrong when Millie was a puppy. So I'm trying not to put too much pressure on him and make things harder for him when they actually need to be made simpler. And where I can see things aren't going to plan, such as his parading, making sure that I'm setting him up to succeed or that it's okay to actually just take a break from these things. I think this approach has really helped with things like his lead walking. He has never really pulled and his lead walking is pretty fucking amazing. Bruce hasn't really walked long distances on lead and my main focus has been making sure that he's engaged with me, he's not frustrated and he's not overstimulated, and I think that's really helped. Between 7 and 8 months old, I would say that he also entered a bit of a fear phase, so he was a bit more spooked by a few things, but then his confidence did grow in other areas. So when he had free time to run around with the other dogs, he was always following the dog that was furthest away and not just glued to my side. And the final thing to mention is his ability to settle outside of his crate, which has never been amazing, got worse. So he spent a lot of time in his crate napping rather than me fighting to get him to settle outside of his crate. Bruce is now 9 months old, so a lot of the things I've mentioned in this video have already improved, but he is very much still Bruce the Bastard.